Hi everyone, my name is Kevin Oles, and this is my Module 7 for AEP 855, which focuses on the human resource frame. The human resource frame of leadership is a leadership model that helps leaders come to different approaches on an issue and not just focus on one approach that they use for all issues. The idea here is that any issues that might arise as you are a leader they're all different, and some of them should be approached in a different manner. Depending on the circumstances, there are, of these four different approaches that are laid out here that I'm going to lay out in a second, one may be more appropriate than another, or you could use a combination of both, which would make you the most successful as a leader. The four frames are structural first. That has to deal with strategy, implementation, and adaptation. This is structural within, excuse me, within your building, within the structures of your workplace, within the structures that you have put in place in terms of your workers, how they may report to you, things of that nature. The next frame is the human resource frame, and this approaches problems that come up, which focuses solely on the people involved. The idea here is that with focus on people, you can solve the issues without having to do too much else. Finally, or the next one would be political, which is approaching issues that might arise based on outside organizations, or organizations that are outside of where the issue may stem from. Finally, symbolic. The symbolic frame focuses on vision and inspiration, being kind of a charismatic leader and trying to implement change in that way. And those are the frames of leadership. The next part of our assignment for this week was to form a structure or a hierarchy of the different people involved in a school building, and kind of lay out in order of importance each group of people. Like in the introduction, I think you have to look at the student first. The student is the most important part of the school building. The results that come from the students are the most important, and everything kind of falls into place from there. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. The rest of the structure that I put through here kind of follows the same basic pattern, and I focused mainly on groups of people who touched or had the greatest influence on the students, and that's how I went about making my list, with the thought in mind that the students are the most important. So number two in the hierarchy would be teachers. I think they have the most important influence on the students. Parents and community are also very important. They touch the students very closely, and I think that those two kind of go hand in hand. Also with alumni, those are kind of people who are stakeholders who are outside of the school, who are still very close to the school, that have influence over the students. Finally, a little bit surprising might be I put the principal here at number 6. The principal, again, yes, has some influence on the students, but might be more preoccupied with doing more back of the house stuff. So that's why the principal is so low here. Office staff, definitely important to the running of a building, but doesn't influence the students too much in a learning capacity. Paraprofessionals, the same. I think they help, and they're around students a lot, and they help with the learning of the students, but aren't as integral as anybody before them. And finally, the last three pieces of the structure here would be custodians, cooks, and maintenance personnel. I think those are all kind of interchangeable. They have little to no influence on the learning of the students. They do help the building run. It's important that your building is clean to promote a good learning environment. It's important that students aren't hungry and are consuming healthy foods in order to promote a good learning environment. Same goes for maintenance as well. But I think those people touch the students a little bit less than the groups of people before them.